Every year, we humans produce about 290 billion kilograms of it. That's 90 kilograms per person, more than 6 metric tons over our lifetime. Poop. It's long been relegated to society's outhouse. And while most people find poo disgusting, there's an unusual group of researchers who are embracing the brown stuff, bravely venturing into a world they believe holds secrets that could help change our lives. But are they full of it? Can changing your diet make your poo smell better?
That's so much worse.
Are colon cleanses good for you?
This is so incredible.
Can the world's first poo bot collect important health information from the sewer? And do the rituals dogs perform when they do their business mean anything? I'm Jennifer Gardy. As a microbiologist, I'm keen to find out.
My mission? To uncover whether poo has the power to revolutionize our health.
To do that, I'm going to put poop claims to the test and discover whether they're myth or science. Cleaning someone else's toilet isn't usually how I start my day. But I'm scrubbing the Price family's bathroom in the name of science. They've kindly agreed to let me turn their lavatory into a laboratory to test our first claim. When we flush the toilet, it sprays poop all over the bathroom. Myth or science? To find out, I'm disinfecting every single surface in this bathroom. The Price family isn't allowed to do any cleaning in here for the next 2 weeks. When I come back, I'll take a series of swabs to see if I can find any traces of poop. And so the experiment begins. Like the rest of us, the Price family is keen to flush their poop out of sight and out of mind. Two weeks later, I'm back to gather swabs from all over the bathroom. And I don't want to forget these. What I'm looking for are trace amounts of fecal bacteria. These bacteria originate in our intestines and come out in our feces.
Hey, you got the sample?
I do. I picked the best-looking colonies.
Excellent.
If there's even a little bit of fecal material, this machine is going to find it. So is everybody ready for some results?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, we were able to identify lots of different bacteria in your house, and most of them are what you'd expect. You know, things on your skin, things that come in from the environment. But we did find fecal bacteria, those are poo bacteria, in a couple interesting places. You want to find out where?
I guess.
I guess. Okay. We found fecal bacteria on the floor and the wall next to the toilet, which is not surprising. But we also found it on your toothbrushes. So, how did fecal bacteria get from the toilet bowl to the far reaches of the bathroom? To figure that out, I get a high-speed camera, a black light, and I pour fluorescent dye into the toilet. There it is, minute particles of water and fecal bacteria ejected with every flush. And they hit virtually everything, including the toothbrushes. But this wasn't the only room in the Price house where I went searching for fecal bacteria. You know, I swabbed other places in your house too, not just the bathroom. And what's interesting is we found fecal bacteria in places like your smartphone screen And we found it on the fridge door handle, too. Turns out, we spread fecal bacteria with our hands. But not to worry. Most of these bugs are harmless. Claim proven. It's kinda gross, but when we flush, not all of our poop goes down the toilet. For some of us, it's not enough to flush poop out of our homes. Some people are so convinced it's unhealthy, they want to flush it out of their bodies as well. Celebrities and magazines push the benefits of colon cleanses. The assumption is that our intestines get clogged up and we have to regularly clean them out if we hope to stay healthy.
So how about this claim? Colon cleanses are good for our health because they help us lose weight by removing kilograms of built-up fecal material. Myth or science?
To get to the bottom of this one, I really need to understand how poo is created. So I'm turning to gastroenterologist Dr. Jin Ho.
Hello, Jen.
Hey, Dr. Ho, how are you?
I'm very good.
Dr. Ho has the perfect piece of technology to explore the mysterious world of my digestive system.
We have the pill cam for you.
Okay.
The pill cam is a camera that you're going to swallow, and as it travels through your gastrointestinal tract, it's going to be taking anywhere between 2 to 6 pictures per second.
All the way to the end of the line.
Absolutely.
And my digestive tract is made to measure for this claim. I've never had a colon cleanse. If there's anyone with clogged pipes, it'll be me.
All right.
And anytime you're ready, put it in your
Time
mouth
to
and
go?
swallow it.
All right. Well, here's to a fantastic voyage.
Over the next 8 hours, the pill cam will photograph my entire digestive tract, starting with my esophagus, then my stomach, small intestine, and colon.
We've downloaded the images from the recorder.
Next day, I'm back. Time for Dr. Ho to discover if I'm full of impacted poo.
That's your hand. It's in the mouth now.
My tongue.
Tongue, that's right.
Oh, cool.
And then you can see your teeth
Oh,
there.
a tooth.
And it's on its way down. It's now down in the esophagus. Down.
Look at all the saliva.
Our saliva plays a critical role. It lubricates the esophagus and helps carry food from my mouth to my stomach.
So you can see there
Neat.
that it's just popped into the stomach.
Wow, like a splashdown.
That's right.
Cool.
It's here that most of our digestion takes place. Acids and enzymes continue the work begun by the saliva.
The stomach is constantly churning, so it's moving the capsule forward.
Peristalsis. It's
That's right. That's
squishing
right.
it
It's
forward.
pushing it forward. Yeah.
Now, the camera is making the 6-meter journey through my small intestine, where most of the nutrients from my food are absorbed. So far, so good. Things are looking pretty clear.
And at this point, we're getting ready to pass into the colon.
That's right.
And here we are, the place where poop is made.
You can see that the bowel wall is very nice,
Yeah.
shiny. You can see the vasculature.
Now, if the claims around colon cleanses were true, in the colon we'd expect to see fecal material kind of lining the walls of the bowel.
There is poop in here, but it's not sticking. It's moving right along.
The stool is just in contact with the bowel,
Yeah.
but it's not adherent to it in any way.
The walls they're perfectly clear.
Yeah.
The reason is the colon's unique design. It's lined with epithelial cells. These cells are continuously shed and continuously replaced. This process prevents poo from sticking to the intestinal walls as it makes its way towards the end of the line.
Colon cleanses are not necessary. And there isn't enough medical evidence to suggest that it is even beneficial. And in fact, it can actually cause harm. So people who have taken colon cleanses have developed complications like dehydration, kidney problems, heart problems, and it can even change the flora of the bowel.
Myth busted. Colon cleanses don't help us lose weight because there's no fecal buildup to get rid of. And it's all thanks to our body's own incredible built-in cleaning system.
If poop plays such a critical role in digestion, can it also tell us when our digestive system is working or not? Should we be worried when lunch looks pretty much the same coming out as it did going in?
Here's a claim. Corn in your poop is a sign of poor digestion. Myth or science?
To dig into this one, I've come to see Cesar Cursagara, a microbiologist at the University of Guelph. Not only does Cesar know his poop, he's got some wicked equipment that will let us examine it at the microscopic level.
Cesar, hi.
Hi, Jen. How are you?
I'm excellent.
Good. Welcome to Guelph.
Thank you. I brought what you asked for.
Fantastic. We can get started.
So I've got a stool sample here, and I collected it after eating a diet that was rich in corn.
Okay, so it still needs to be extracted?
It does.
All right, to the lab.
Lucky for Cesar, his subject is a fellow microbiologist. I carefully pick several kernels of corn from my sample and clean them off.
Done. Sample prepped. So I've grabbed a representative kernel out of my sample, and I have to say, it's as if I haven't digested the corn at all.
But to be sure, we compare it to an undigested kernel.
You know, apart from some obvious discoloration in this sample, they really look absolutely identical.
But before we jump to any conclusions about my digestion, Cesar wants to put both kernels under one of his very powerful microscopes. We start with the undigested kernel.
You can see it's pretty full and intact. And now we get to the bottom edge and you can see a really clean line.
Yep.
It looks like it's full.
Yeah, this is completely intact.
Now it's time to examine the kernel that went through my system.
Now, here we can see a clear difference.
Yeah, it's less dense, it's lost some material. You know, to the naked eye, these two kernels look intact, but at this magnification, this one's clearly being digested.
That's right.
Looks like my digestive system isn't misfiring. So what's going on? To find out, Cesar pulls out the big guns, the Quanta FEG 250 scanning electron microscope. It magnifies images 60,000 times.
So we'll start by looking at the undigested corn kernel. So here you can see the surface is relatively smooth and devoid of any debris.
But when we look at the kernel that went through my gut, a completely different picture emerges.
That's amazing. It's absolutely covered in microbes.
That's right, so those are the fecal bacteria.
And these are the bacteria that are digesting the center of the corn kernel out.
That's right.
That's incredible. You know, this is the first time that I've ever seen the microbes inside me.
It's the fecal bacteria that extract the nutrients in our food and break them down during digestion so our bodies can use them. With corn, fecal bacteria swarm each kernel and consume the starch inside. But they don't touch the shell. It's made of cellulose and can't be dissolved. Cellulose is an insoluble fiber and great for moving things along and preventing constipation.
If you see food in your poop, it doesn't mean you haven't extracted the nutrients from it. At the microscopic level, poop gives an invaluable readout about a person's digestive system. You just see a whole bunch of different microbes that you know are doing great things in your body that are actually helping you extract foods, vitamins, minerals, nutrients that you need. Poop is actually the end product of an extraordinary process.
Myth busted. Corn in your poop isn't a sign of poor digestion. What looks like whole kernels, well, they're actually hollow. Your digestive system takes what it needs and it leaves the rest behind to facilitate a smooth exit.
So, is it possible that your poop can provide other nuggets of important health information? Definitely. What about this claim? Poop shouldn't float.
Myth or science?
This one is science. If your poop floats, the culprit could be excess gas or fat. The occasional floater is nothing to worry about, but if your stool never sinks, That could be a sign that your body isn't absorbing nutrients properly. What about this one? If you want to stay healthy, you need to poop once a day. This is a myth. Normal frequency is anywhere from 3 times a day to 3 times a week. And you may have heard that when it comes to poop, shape matters. It does. There's even a handy-dandy chart to help you decipher what your poo is telling you. The optimal shape looks like a smooth sausage. Helpful. Coming up, I travel to Cambridge, Massachusetts to find out why this robot is scouring the sewers for human waste. And does eating meat give you smellier poo than eating vegetables? Yours truly provides a couple of samples to find out. It goes without saying that poo gets a bad rap because it just plain smells. Most people, of course, wouldn't choose to be around poo. Luckily for us, Emma Allen Verco isn't most people. She runs what she calls the Poopy Lab at the University of Guelph, and she's the perfect person to help me with my next claim.
Eating a vegetarian diet will give you better smelling poop than a diet that includes meat. Myth or science? Hi, Emma.
Got my samples?
I do. I kept them on dry ice.
Emma studies the microbes that live in our gut, including fecal bacteria. And she's come up with a very smart way to discover if a vegetarian's poo is less stinky. For the last few weeks, I've been on 2 special diets. First, I turned vegetarian for a week and collected a sample. After a bit of a break, I went on a week-long meat binge and gathered another one.
A veg one was delicious, meat one was a nice indulgence.
Now it's time to analyze my stool samples, and to do that,
Gonna use this.
Wow, that's a pretty big machine for a little poop.
it's called an NMR spectrometer.
This is the machine that we use to analyze all the smelly compounds in your poop.
When fecal bacteria interact with our food, they create the chemicals that give our poo its unmistakable odor. The NMR tells Emma exactly which chemical compounds are in my 2 samples. Using this information, Emma recreates the smell of my vegetarian poo and my meat poo and bottles them. And now the fun part. A group of sniffers will put their noses to work and determine which diet creates stinkier poop. None of them have been told what they're smelling. Everyone will be asked to describe the smell in each bottle
Welcome, Nikita.
and rate them from 1 to 10.
1 is pleasant and 10 is extremely stinky.
Only Emma knows which bottle is which.
Oh, that reeks.
That reeks. What does it smell like to you?
Like dingy old clothes, I would say.
Now, vial B.
That's so much worse. Oh my god. Oh, that smells like an old hockey bag.
I love it. How would you rate the odor in each of the 2 vials?
A solid 7 and a solid 8.5.
Oh man. It kind of smells like pee that's been sitting for a really long time in like sawdust.
Nice. Stale pee and sawdust.
A, I think, would probably be like 8.5,
Okay.
9. B, I think probably more like 6.
Damp front.
Nice.
Like something that's been sitting outside in the compost for a while. A is maybe like a 4, and B would be like 8.
Wow, that's very disgusting. Very putrid. Smells like decaying matter, maybe, mixed in some garbage.
Just awful. Barn, pigs. Ooh.
Kind of like something is dying. I would say A is probably an 8, and I'd put B at 10.
Excellent.
Not surprisingly, some people recognize the odor right away.
Oh, this is awful. This is gross. It smells like poop.
Once our poor sniffers are done, Emma and I discuss the results.
Numerically, we did ask the sniffers to rank each sample. How did that data turn out?
Well, that was super interesting because came up with pretty much a dead heat. So we have for veggie, we have 7.3, and for meat, we have 7.2.
You know, they're both unpleasant, but equally so, even though they're both incredibly different smells.
That's because both vegetables and meat create different chemicals with equally foul-smelling odors. A meat diet can produce vile-smelling compounds like urea, ammonia, even cadaverine. Yes, as in dead bodies. Vegetables create stinkers like acetate, propionate, and butyrate.
We're never going to be able to change the way that poop smells. A lot of the food that you eat that isn't used up by your part of the body in the upper intestine goes down to the lower intestine, and microbes actually ferment it. So it's basically they're making their own fermented food, if you like, but they're also making a lot of stinky compounds as a result of that.
Myth busted. Well, it's true that eating a vegetarian diet does change the scent of your poop. It's certainly not for the better.
Every year, every one of us produces about 90 kilograms of poop. It all ends up down here in the bowels of the city. But is it possible we're flushing critical information down the toilet?
As a microbiologist who studies public health, I'm fascinated by this next claim. That the fecal material in our sewers can reveal the health of an entire neighborhood. Myth or science?
To find out, I've come to Cambridge to visit the Massachusetts Institute of Technology,
Home of one of MIT's star researchers. Meet Luigi.
Luigi is possibly the world's first poo-bot. He's the brainchild of a group of researchers who created him to do the dirty work of bringing mucky sewer water to the surface, so they don't have to. Luigi's boss is Nusha Gailey.
We built a custom program to control Luigi. Can control everything up, down, forward, backward.
Nusha believes the feces-laden water in the sewer could contain a wealth of information about the health of people in this neighborhood.
We're interested in the microbiome. That's a collection of bacteria that are detectable in our poop. But we're also interested in chemicals and viruses that we excrete. These substances begin to tell us about what's going on inside our bodies.
Once Luigi's sensors tell him he's in position, he sucks in the sewer waste with a thin hose, capturing the gold Nusha's panning for.
So I'm going to get him to ascend now.
Luigi has collected waste that's less than 30 minutes away from the toilets it came from.
A lot of the bacteria and the chemicals that we're looking for actually break down quite quickly. So this makes sure that we get them while they're fresh. Oh, it's a lot darker than usual.
Yeah.
Back at the MIT lab, Luigi's poop sample is analyzed in minute detail. What the team is searching for are the viruses, bacteria, and chemicals that just an hour ago were inside the bodies of people living in this neighborhood. What these compounds tell them is fascinating.
We looked at the top 10 plant-based foods that people were eating in this neighborhood, and what we saw were very common pantry items like wheat, beans, rice.
But this is just the tip of the iceberg. Nusha also found chemicals that reveal what medications people are taking, whether they're smoking, if they're obese, even if they're under stress.
And that really gets at the core of why we're doing this work. We really hope that our data and this information can be useful for governments, public health officials, so that they can really begin to target the resources that they're providing to a community around what they're seeing in the data.
You've got a real-time readout of health specific to a neighborhood.
Exactly.
Looks like this one's true. Poop in our sewer systems can be used to reveal a neighborhood's health. Rather than just waste to be flushed away, it's actually an untapped source of invaluable information.
Coming up after the toilet break, analyzing scat. Can animal droppings also provide important clues about their health? I head to the San Juan Islands to find out if orca feces can protect this endangered animal. And do dogs face north to south when they do their duty? I join a professional dog walker to find out. The orcas of the Salish Sea are awe-inspiring. They spend most of the year in the waters around Vancouver Island. But these killer whales are critically endangered. Scientists believe the orca's poop may hold clues that could explain their low numbers. But finding whale scat in the vast ocean waters is nearly impossible. So what about this one? Scientists can use dogs and their killer sense of smell
to help protect one of the ocean's most magnificent creatures, the orca.
Sam Wasser is a research biologist at the University of Washington. Today, he and his dog Jack are on the hunt for orca poop. Jack's faced with a nearly impossible task. Orcas are extremely elusive. They travel about 120 kilometers a day. And relative to their immense size, their scat is extremely small. And that's not the only thing that makes it hard to find.
In the water, you have currents moving very, very rapidly. A sample may drift a mile in 15 minutes or so.
But Jack has a secret weapon. Thanks to more than 200 million olfactory receptors, his sense of smell is thousands of times better than ours. Sam's hoping that will make the difference in his quest to track down some orca poo.
Just move downwind.
Even if there is whale scat in the vicinity, Jack relies on the wind to carry its smell in his direction. Colette Yee is Jack's handler. She watches closely for any sign he's picked up the scent. Patience is the order of the day.
Are you ready? Here we go, Jack. Turn in. A little to the right. Oh yeah, he's picking it up already. Turn it.
We want to get there as quickly as we can before the sample sinks.
Slow it down a little, Doug. You got something?
Yo, absolutely,
Jack.
he's got it.
It's coming up on our 11. Sit.
Now we know that it's close, so I'm going to get into position.
Yeah. Stop, stop, stop there. Back, back, back.
Oh, there it is.
Get ready to grab it now. Now I grab it.
Good job.
Yeah.
All right.
Attaboy, Jack, there you go.
And Jack is rewarded for a job well done.
Boy, Jack, you did it. Good find. Nice, nice.
Sam and his team will examine the DNA and hormones in the poop to see if they can tell us anything about the orca's health and their dangerous decline. Back in 1995, there were 98 orcas of the Salish Sea. With only 77 remaining, time is running out. As Sam hoped, the data from the orca scat do hold key clues about their health.
The data show that essentially The whales are declining because they're not making any babies.
And you can get that just from the feces?
Yeah, we use the feces to measure stress and reproductive hormones, and what we are able to show is that the females that get pregnant are divided into two groups, the ones that abort and the ones that take it to term. And the ones that abort, the hormones in the feces show that they're much more nutritionally stressed than the ones that go to term.
They're not getting enough to eat, and that in turn creates stress that leads to these spontaneous abortions.
Exactly. From our samples, we get DNA that we can tell the species, the individual identity, the sex of the animal. We get stress, reproductive nutrition hormones.
There is just an absolute treasure trove of information in it.
Claim proven. Scientists can use a dog's nose for poo to protect the endangered orca. And it's not just whales either. Conservationists working with dogs like Jack are protecting everything from bears to cougars to the African elephant.
We've all seen it. That crazy dance dogs do right before they do their business. Many animals have elaborate pooping rituals. But what do they mean?
What about this canine claim? When dogs defecate, they sense the Earth's magnetic field and align their bodies in a north-south direction. Myth or science?
To test this one, I need data. Lots of it.
Hello, you must be Thomas.
Yes, I am.
And who are all these guys?
This is my gang. This is James Dean.
Thomas Walker is a dog walker.
Is your last name really Walker?
It is. It is. I was meant to do this.
Over the course of a day, he takes about 30 dogs for a stroll, and he's pretty attuned to their pooping habits.
They'll stop and start to circle, and others want to hide, like get into a bush.
Scientists already know that birds and fish use the Earth's magnetic field to help them navigate. But do dogs have this ability as well? To find out, I'm going to record the directions our dogs face when they poop.
I am going to get the compass on my phone here, and I'm going to try and align myself with their body and take a reading.
She's gonna go. There she goes.
I'm establishing their direction by looking at the alignment of their spines.
Oh, looks like JD's gonna poop.
Excellent. Okay, let me get in position. Go. JD, 49 degrees.
There you go.
Over the next week, I do a lot of plotting. And Thomas, a lot of poop scooping.
Oh, poop!
Poop!
Girl.
So the walks are done. I've recorded each dog's orientation while they were pooping, but the compass headings, they're kind of all over the map. Now, I think I have an idea of what's going on, and I know just the person to ask.
Yeah, it appears the data is random.
Exactly. Sometimes the dogs are oriented kind of north-south, other times it's a bit more east-west.
Johanna Wagstaff is a meteorologist. She also has a background in geophysics.
The magnetic field changes throughout the day. It's never calm for more than a few hours because external factors like solar storms disrupt it.
So if we've got poops from different dates and different times, we need to figure out exactly what was happening with the magnetic field on the moment that each poop took place.
Exactly.
Using a website that plots magnetic field conditions, Johanna and I go through every single poop.
Okay, so our first reading on this day is 11:15 in the morning.
Okay, 11:15. Checking. And calm.
Calm, okay.
I plot the poops that occurred during calm magnetic conditions in red.
See, 43 degrees. 340. We got a 323.
And the poops that took place when the magnetic field was disrupted in green. Eventually, a pattern emerges.
When magnetic field conditions are calm, the dogs pretty much align themselves.
Exactly, north-south. But when the magnetic field was disrupted, most are not aligned north-south. Scientists believe that dogs have mental maps of their surroundings. When they stop to poop, they're calibrating these maps and storing the locations in their memory. Why the calibration happens while pooping? No one knows for sure.
Claim proven. There is a relationship between orientation and defecation, and dogs do align themselves north-south to poop, but only when the Earth's magnetic field conditions are calm.
Coming up, I meet an engineer who's going to help me discover if you can get drinking water from poo. And I find poop in the most unexpected place. When I think about where our drinking water comes from, I picture melting glaciers, clear alpine lakes, and unspoiled reservoirs. But is it possible that our daily intake of H2O could also come from sources that aren't nearly so pristine?
Here's a claim that's a little unappetizing. Poop is an untapped source of potable drinking water. Myth or science?
At Janicki Industries in Washington State, they love poop so much, they get it delivered by the truckload. That's because owner and engineer Peter Janicki is on a mission to find out if you can get drinking water from sewer sludge. He first started wondering about the potential of poop when he traveled to the developing world.
Well, what we did is we looked at, what was in human waste. It's a lot of energy and a lot of water.
A lot indeed. Poop is 75% H2O. To try and get at it, Peter did what any engineer would. He built a machine. Meet the Omni processor. Here's how it works. A tube carries the poop to a dryer. In the dryer, it's boiled and water vapor is separated from the solids. The solids are burned in a furnace, and the remaining ash is used as fertilizer. The water vapor is condensed into liquid. But is it really drinkable? To find out, Peter needs a guinea pig. And guess who that is?
Remember the really nasty sewer sludge on the way in?
I do.
Well, a little bit of boiling, a little bit of magic, a lot of engineering, and here we are.
This is the end product.
You want to try some?
Oh, what the heck.
Okay, here we go. Well,
That's good. I would not have guessed where this originally came from.
for millions of years, human waste has killed humans. However, there's also a lot of good stuff in there. It's a really exciting opportunity to take something that's right in our own community that has negative value and turn it into positive value.
Claim proven. You can get drinking water from poo. This Omni processor is headed to the developing world, where it will create 80,000 liters of clean water a day. If poop can provide us with water, is it possible that it can be mined for other natural resources? What about this one? Poo is a source of energy. Myth or science? It's science. At Clovermead Farms in southwestern Ontario, cow manure is being harnessed to create electricity. The way cow power works is simple. 12 times a day, a machine scrapes up the droppings provided by these Holsteins. Each day, the manure is moved over to the star of the show, the anaerobic digester. The digester works like a giant stomach. Inside, the manure is heated to exactly 38.5 degrees Celsius. Microbes, like the ones in our stomach, are added and interact with the poo to create methane gas. That methane gas drives a generator that produces enough electricity to power 5 farms.
The mixture that comes out of the digester is pure farming gold. It no longer contains methane, a dangerous greenhouse gas. And its nutrients are being concentrated, making it the perfect fertilizer to use around the farm.
There's nothing like going away on a tropical vacation. It lets me get away from all that poop I've been chasing. Or does it?
Here's a claim. As much as 70% of the sand on tropical beaches is actually fish poop. Fact or fiction? Well, this one's fact. And it's not just any type of fish poop, it's parrotfish poop to be precise.
These beautiful creatures munch on coral reefs composed of calcium carbonate. When it exits the parrotfish, it comes out as nice, white, silky sand.
When it comes to poop, looks can be deceiving.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, it worked for me.
From an early age, we're taught that poo is repulsive.
That reeks.
But now we're reassessing feces in unique and innovative ways. What we're discovering is that poo has the power to help change our lives. Instead of throwing it away, we are now harnessing it to protect our health and the well-being of those we share the planet with in ways we've only just begun to understand.